What's going on, everybody? This is Lung Liver bringing you not a really ride-along conversation since we're parked in a parking lot, but we'll call it a sit-along conversation. So, I'm here with Archangel.
Archangel Firearms and Explosives, guys.
And we were having a conversation about carrying firearms and the level of training in this country and just different Second Amendment ideas. And he has a very good... wouldn't call it a speech, but a very good viewpoint of why he wants to carry a firearm once he gets a license. So I will go ahead and let him kind of repeat what you just said.
All right.
And go ahead, take it away.
Well, if you guys have seen Long Lever's video here that he and I put together about a month or so ago now, I'm going to be a new firearms owner. I just passed my 21st. And I got asked the other day by a young lady why I would carry a firearm. And my response was this. I follow a train of thought on this. I carry it, one, for the protection of my significant other, whether it be my spouse, my girlfriend, or somebody who's really close to me. Two, I carry it for the protection of my family, my sister, my mother, my father, my grandmother, all the way down to my church family as well. Three, I carry it for the protection of my friends. In a group setting, and Long Lever can attest to this because he's in some of these groups that I am, at some points in times, he or I could be the only one armed in that situation to protect, should something go wrong. Then I carry for the protection of the innocent bystanders around me. I work in the hospitality industry, and it is always a forefront thought in our minds of, heaven forbid, what happens if. I happen to work at what is the nicest hotel in our state. And we play host to a lot of high-value military clientele as well as political clientele. And so it's always at the forefront of our mind as to what if. And lastly, and this is kind of the least important of them, I carry to protect myself. My friend asked me, she said, why would you put yourself last on that list? I said, for two reasons. One, because that's what you do. I said, and two, because if it comes down to it, I better be ready to give my life to protect the rest of those around me. Because by goodness, if I pull that gun, A, I'm going to be ready to use it to take a life. But B, and what a lot of people don't think of, is if you're going to do that, you better be ready and willing to give your life. Because that usually means somebody's got a weapon of some kind within your range, and it very well could be your life that gets taken. But you've also got to remember that if you're ready and willing to give your life, that 5 minutes or whatever it would be between you pulling your firearm and him shooting you could be that 5 minutes of law enforcement arriving, hostages getting out, innocent bystanders running, your family running. I mean, I pull that gun with family and friends around that aren't armed. The first thing I'm going to do is say, there's the door, get out of town. Mm-hmm. Don't stick around to see what happens to me. If I don't come out, I don't come out, you know?
Because when seconds count, police are only 5 to 10 minutes away, if not more.
And in a case like our property and the way we're set up, we have several places that are one way in, one way out. And that 5 minutes is enough to take quite a few hostages. And it's just, you better be ready and willing, you know? Mm-hmm. Never pull a firearm and point it at somebody if you're not willing to pull the trigger.
Yep. Gun stays in the holster until a threat appears.
And I told this young lady I was talking to, I don't carry as a status symbol. I see too many guys who do that. Oh, look at me, I got a big gun on my hip. I'm sorry.
I'm a cowboy.
Right. I'm sorry. When I get a gun, it ain't going to be chrome plated for looks. It's going to be black to hide right up against whatever the heck I'm wearing that day. And it's going to be there to protect, not to show. You can have the prettiest looking gun in America and be the worst shot in the world. And when it comes down to it, either A, the bad guy's getting your gun and using it, or B, you're just going to end up in the floor dead. I mean, that's the truth and reality of it.
And that's a perfect transition. Like I was telling Archangel, you know, it's not a status symbol. It's not something... I hate carrying a gun. I really do. It is a, 3 or 4 pound piece of metal that's on my side. It's uncomfortable. It digs into my side whenever I sit down or wherever I'm going. I don't want to have to shoot somebody, but if a form of human pollution shows up, I will happily send them to meet their maker. to
Right.
protect those innocents. But I don't want to. It's not fun. You know, I love to go out and shoot guns, but I hate carrying one everywhere I go and have to constantly worry about whether I'm going to get heckled by police, if I accidentally print a little bit, if I reach up for something, somebody sees my gun, and suddenly I'm an armed person inside of a store that might be shooting somebody, and they call the cops, and then I get heckled, and the possibility of getting shot just because I have one by good guys.
Right.
Forget a bad guy seeing it and shooting me. Cops come in, what are you doing with that gun? And I make a wrong move and they're a little trigger happy, I get shot by good guys.
And one thing as well that I did not note, but is something I have talked to people about before, is we're seeing a lot more of this violence towards our law enforcement officers. Let me just go on the record for saying, if I roll up to a situation and there's an officer getting his can kicked in, or it's 2 or 3 against 1 with weapons involved, and I have my sidearm, I will not hesitate to offer aid to that officer.
Mm-hmm.
He's there to protect me, but I feel as a gun-carrying citizen, I have some level of responsibility to protect back.
And that transitions into another spot, and this will be the last thing that we talk about because we're already at 6 minutes. But I was at a restaurant probably about a month ago or so, and 4 plainclothes detectives walk in, and they've got badges on their belt, they've got open carried firearms and holsters, and they sat down to eat. And we've heard a lot of cops who are sitting at restaurants, who are in drive-thrus, who are just going about their daily business, stopping their duty for half an hour to get something to eat, or to do something, and they get gunned down. They get ambushed while they are eating. I think of, I think it was down in Tennessee or Kentucky or someplace down south, to where there was a police officer sitting in a Panera Bread. And bad guy walked in, shot him in the back of the head, walked to another restaurant or a store down the street, shot another cop. And I sent out on my Facebook, which is linked down below if you want to go check it out and give it a like. Those officers did not know I was carrying. I was carrying concealed. I was sitting probably about 20 yards away from them, across the restaurant. And I messaged out, sitting here concealed carrying, 4 plainclothes cops sitting across from me. I've got your backs. And I will say that if you wear a uniform, I've got your back no matter what. If you need help, I'm there for you. I will watch you. I will make sure that you stay safe. That's why I never sit with my back to a door. And that's why a lot of police don't either. It's not because we're paranoid. It's because we like to see who's coming to get us.
And I stand right there with him on that one. Even beyond just police, but to fire and EMS, they're getting targeted now as well. And if you're, like you said, if you're in a uniform, I got your back.
Yep. So some thoughts from us. Archangel has still yet to get his channel going, but he will soon.
Should be up soon, guys. Sorry for the delay. Been out sick.
That link will be down below, and I think in one other video that I'm still editing once I get it done. But I just want to thank you all for watching. Please like, please subscribe, do everything you know how to do. All the links are down below to anything we've talked about, to cool stuff. So go do it. And everybody have a great day, and we'll see you on the next one.